What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today, we are going up against Alex, because apparently everybody that I'm battling recently, they're all named Alex. But this Alex has been on the channel for a long time. He's been a subscriber for well over a year, and he's always in the comment section. He's always leaving those long comments, so if you see him down there, or not if, when you see him down there, because he will be in the comment section, make sure you give him a GG. Regardless of what happens here. We're having an RU battle. I don't know if I even mentioned that. But yeah, this is going to be the last time we're bringing this team. And for those of you that are not sure what we are bringing today, I will go over the team here. We have our Bulk Up Girder, Choice Scarf, Haunter. The Scarf Destiny Bond always comes in handy. We also have Destiny Bond on our Quillfish, but it is physically defensive with Intimidate, and it's also a Spike Stacker. Pursuit Trapping Mixed Houndoom. I do have 3 dark moves that are all physical, and then Fire Blast, so, with a Life Orb, so that's pretty interesting. And then Choice Specs for Reuniclus. That kind of forms a nice core, because things like Slowking, Xatu, Jellicent, they like to switch in on Future Sights sometimes, because you don't want to take a Future Sight with something that, you know, can't absorb those types of hits. But it also turns out that they're also pretty weak to Pursuit and Houndoom, so Houndoom can trap them, and we usually get a kill when that happens. So, and the fact that he has a Jellicent and a Xatu here means that we could definitely put in some work with that core. And then last but not least, we have our Thick Fat, specially defensive Miltank, which is also our Stealth Rocker and our Cleric. So we can kind of play around with the sleep on the Amoonguss, or a potential burn from the Jellicent, just because we have that Heal Bell. Although he might be careful about throwing around Will-O-Wisp with a Flash Fire Pokemon around. We'll have to see how that goes. I see the Stealth Rocker in the Rhydon. That most likely is a defensive core with the Jellicent and the Xatu, I would think. Or maybe that Xatu is offensive. I want to say that the Sawk is choiced as well. But Alex always brings different things, so basically whenever I have a battle with him, I need to scout his entire team, because you never know what he's going to bring. And basically I'm the same way. Sometimes, you know, like half my team usually is somewhat standard and does what you would think it would do, and then there's a couple of Pokemon that are just like completely off the wall and unpredictable. And actually, he's going to lead off with the Amoonguss, but now that I'm thinking about it, looking at his team, I think this Amoonguss is offensive in some way. I'm not sure if it is... I'm not sure if it's Specs. I doubt it. It's probably Assault Vest, but I'm going to fire off a Future Sight anyway. This is actually a very good matchup for me. The reason I didn't want to lead with Miltank or Quillfish for hazards is just because he has Xatu. So we're not going to be playing the hazard game until I can either lure that thing in. And he doesn't go into it. He actually goes into Jellicent. So that doesn't resist Future Sight. I mean, it can take it, just because it's a Jellicent. Pringles Jr., that's the best name. That is the best name. Mine is just named Pringles, so I guess that's why he named it Junior. I don't know, that's pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. But yeah, the fact that he went into Jellicent to take a potential Psychic move and not Xatu leads me to believe that that Xatu could be offensive and might not take the hit as well. So, yeah, because Jellicent, or not Jellicent, Reuniclus doesn't usually run anything that will... what was I going to say? Reuniclus doesn't usually run anything that can really hurt Jellicent. Or, what am I talking about? Never mind. Forget what I was just saying, because I can hit Xatu and Jellicent with Shadow Ball, so I don't know where I was going with that. But I'm going to Pursuit Trap this thing. I was trying to think ahead about what moves I wanted to make, and I'm just talking nonsense here. Basically the usual for this channel, so those of you that have been around for a while are probably not surprised. He may stay in here just because he's at full health, but Scald is not going to kill me, even with Life Orb damage. He does actually opt to stay in. That still does almost half. So that is specially defensive Jellicent, and he is going to go for a Scald here. We do survive that, and he has to take the Future Sight, so he's dead. Pretty sure. Oh no, he actually takes Spec Future Sight. Yeah, it's definitely specially defensive. He's definitely dead at this point, though, because I can still Pursuit Trap him, and he knows this, so he's not going to switch out, I'm pretty sure. Do I just click Pursuit, though, and sacrifice Houndoom? I mean, it's kind of worth it just to get rid of this Jellicent, because it could potentially be very annoying for my team. I don't really want it recovering. I'm going to Crunch this time, just in case he wanted to try to make a switch there. I mean, it doesn't matter. It really didn't matter what I went for because anything was going to take a decent chunk coming in. And if we were able to get hazards up, that Jellicent would be dead coming back in anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. So it's going to be a double down there as Jellicent and Houndoom both bite the dust. I kind of wish I went for Crunch the first time. But we did get some useful information. That Jellicent is specially defensive, meaning I think that Rhydon is not specially defensive. It's got to be something else. It could just be a like max HP, max attack set, maybe with a little bit of speed to outspeed certain things. It could be like physically defensive. You don't see that too often, just because Rhydon has decent natural bulk anyway, and the Eviolite does help it out in that area. But I'm still expecting it to be rocks. Either way, I am going to go into Miltank here. And he is actually going to go into his Rhydon, so I think we're having the same idea of we want to set up rocks, and we may even trade rocks here. I don't know if he's going to predict Miltank to be my rocker. He might think that I don't have a stealth rocker just because I have Quillfish to set up all types of hazards. So I don't think he's going to pull that switch into Xatu here. I really don't see him doing that. At least I hope that he doesn't do that. But I really do want to get the hazards up. It is going to help against his team because it will break the sturdy of that Sawk, which could prove to be very dangerous regardless of what set it's running. Whether it's choiced or something else, Sawk is always a problem. So I'm actually kind of surprised that Sawk is still NU, because not only is it good in NU, but it's good in higher tiers as well. So I don't know, I guess it just comes down to the usage, of course. So we'll see what he wants to do here. I mean, he could Dragon Tail as well if he has that, just to get rid of Miltank, but I don't really have anything for him. He is going to withdraw. Don't go into Xatu. Don't go into Xatu. He's going to go into Fungal, the Amoonguss. I'm still thinking that this is Assault Vest, which means a couple of things. He doesn't get recovery via Black Sludge. He just has the Regenerator, and that also means he doesn't have Spore, so that's fantastic for me. I mean, I do have Heal Bell, so if I could allow something to fall asleep, I could wake it up with Heal Bell anyway, but that just means I don't have to waste the extra turn switching around for that. Now, he's probably going to go... He's got to go for Sludge Bomb, maybe? Or Giga Drain. I mean, Giga Drain hits everything, because even Haunter switching in does not really want to take that kind of damage. And he might think that my Haunter is Focus Sash as well, because that's somewhat common. So I'm just going to go for the Body Slam here, and he's actually going to pull a double. He really wanted me to switch there, but now he has to go into the Xatu and take extra damage via the Stealth Rock and the Body Slam. So I didn't fall for the bait there, whatever he was trying to bait, and that is definitely offensive, because we do not see the lefties, we don't see Rocky Helmet, and he took kind of a decent amount of damage from that Body Slam there. So we'll see what he does here. I mean, if he switches out and comes back in, he'll have almost no health left, so he's pretty much forced to go for an attack. Kind of surprised he doesn't go for Roost, but he might not have it, or he might be choiced, because he doesn't show Life Orb either, and he's just going to go down to the Body Slam there after we take the Psyshock relatively well. We get our lefties. So Xatu is out of the picture, which means now that's perfect. I am now free to set up all of the hazards that I like. So I can set up spikes with Quillfish all day. I don't have Toxic Spikes, but I don't think I'd want to set up the Toxic Spikes anyway because he has an Amoonguss. So that is that. This Rhydon is a problem. I'm very tempted to go right into Quillfish right now just to get an Intimidate off. He can't OHKO me with an Earthquake, and I don't think he's going to go for that anyway. He's most likely going to set up his Stealth Rocks. So we'll have to see about that. Trying to think of a moveset for this thing. He's probably got Earthquake, Rock Blast, Stealth Rock, and then one other move. Probably a phasing move. Roar or Dragon Tail, I would suspect. But I should be able to get decent damage or just get up a spike here. And I can taunt him if he does attack this turn, so he doesn't set up rocks. But he is going to make the rocks play here. And I think that was his best play at that point, even though my team really isn't that weak to it, especially with Houndoom gone already. But, yeah, I mean, at least punishing my switches a little bit with that extra chip damage is going to help him. So I think that was his best play at that time. So at this point, I can set up spikes. I could also Scald this, and he may be fearing a Water-type move, either Scald or Waterfall, and I'm expecting him to want to switch here, especially because he's intimidated, and I'm anticipating him to be a more defensive variant, or a bulky variant of some kind. It's not to say he doesn't have any attack investment, but I'm expecting it to not be too much. So we shall see. We shall see, indeed. He did lose his Jellicent, so that would be a relatively safe switch into this Quillfish, but Amoonguss is actually a very safe switch as well. So that is exactly what he goes into, and we're going to get up some hazards, so it's a good time. Because he does not have any way of removing these that I can think of. It looked like Xatu was his way of preventing the hazards in the first place and not removing them afterwards. So, am I missing something? I'm trying to think of what he had on his team. I don't think he had any way of removing hazards. But I definitely need to switch here, and I don't have much of a switch into this. The fact that it's offensive with Assault Vest, at least that's what I'm thinking that it is, that's actually going to cause a little bit of a problem for me, because I don't have any switch-ins. Like, I've got Miltank, but I can't really hurt it with Body Slam, and I can't inflict it with any status. So he's just going to go for the Giga Drain. Thankfully, I'm specially defensive, so we can take 2 of those. And we definitely outspeed this because Amoonguss is as slow as balls. So I can go for a Milk Drink. Even if he does want to go for the Sludge Bomb here, that is fine by me. And I really don't know how I'm going to deal with this. This thing is the biggest problem on his team, because as soon as I get some damage off on it, he's going to be able to switch out. So basically, I'm going to need to get a safe switch into Reuniclus, because that is the only thing that will OHKO it. Even though he is, even if he is Assault Vest, I say if because I don't know. I just keep making this proclamation without actually being sure. But he hasn't gone for the Spore yet. So, that is that. Yeah, and we didn't see did we see Black Sludge? Did we see Black Sludge? Crap. Now I derped on that. He did gain some HP back. I think that was via Giga Drain though. So, yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, even if he is Assault Vest, I think that a Psychic from a Specs Reuniclus will still OHKO it. Because he probably doesn't have investment in his special defense. But I'll go for the Body Slam, and we'll gauge the damage on that. We do get the Paralysis, which doesn't really mean anything, because Amoonguss is so ridiculously slow anyway. He actually goes for the Foul Play this time, so he is definitely Assault Vest. There's no reason to carry Foul Play on Amoonguss otherwise, for the most part. For the most part. In higher tiers there is, but not really in RU. Because in higher tiers you can hit things like Garchomp and Talonflame with Foul Play if you predict it to switch in or something. So, that is that. Do I Milk Drink here? I think I should. He might want to switch, I don't know. The Paralysis kind of stinks too. Like, I'm really hoping that he doesn't get fully parried all the time. I carry Body Slam just for the Paralysis chance for the most part, just because Return is actually more powerful. But that Paralysis chance is handy on Choice Scarf users and other things. Not so much on an Amoonguss though. He's actually going to make somewhat of a risky switch into the Sawk. I guess anticipating a Milk Drink or a switch, one or the other. And that was a good play, because I do indeed go for the Milk Drink here. So he's got his Sawk out on a Miltank. Now the mind games begin, because if this thing is choice, which a lot of them are, I would think that his play here is to go for a knockoff, predicting me to switch into Quillfish or Haunter. I mean, it hits either one. So I don't have a switch into knockoff, basically. Like, Quillfish would be my only switch, and it's still going to take an okay amount of damage and loses recovery from that. So I'm actually so tempted to predict that knockoff and go for Body Slam here. If I get the para, that's game over for the Sawk. So, and that would eliminate one of his big-time players, because that really does a number to my team. So I'm going to predict that. And he does actually go for the knockoff, predicting me to switch, and he's going to knock off my lefties, which is unfortunate. But we have a chance to get a para on this thing, and we do not get it. So that kind of stinks, because I would have much rather to get the Paralysis on the Sawk instead of the Amoonguss, because the para on the Amoonguss doesn't help me at all. At this point, I want to predict him to be choiced. And that means I can just stay in and body slam. And there's really nothing stopping me from doing that. So I will go for that. And we're going to hope that this thing is choice. He didn't show Life Orb either. He could be bluffing it with something. He is! He's bluffing the Scarf or Band or just the choice item in general. And he smacks me in the face. Or smacks me in the udder, I guess, with the close combat. So Miltank is gone. That means I have no switch-ins to Amoonguss. That is a cool set. What item are you carrying? Like Lumberry? Possibly? He didn't show Mold Breaker, so he had to be sturdy. I mean, this means I get a safe switch into Haunter to just revenge kill him. But I'm trying to think of what item he could be carrying. Maybe a Fist Plate, like, or Black Belt or something, just to increase the power of close combat, but be able to bluff the choice item, which is... That's amazing, by the way. I do that a lot with Infernape. I carry Fist Plate all the time because, and I just make the rest of the set very similar to what the choice sets would be with U-turn and everything, and it almost always comes in handy because people think you're locked into a move and you just switch it up on them and either take them out with like a Mach Punch or hit them with a Flare Blitz when they think you're locked into something else. So, good stuff. Maybe he's Expert Belt. Could be an option because Salk does have pretty good coverage. So he gets the close combat, the knockoff actually, or that's not what I wanted to say, but it gets knockoff, which is good coverage alongside close combat. Poison Jab, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Ice Punch, gets a lot of moves. But anyway, I'm not going to go into Haunter here. I'm actually going to go into Girder because a Mach Punch might threaten him here. And I don't think he's going to want to risk Mach Punch taking him out. I think he's going to want to save this. So I'm going to go for Bulk Up, predicting him to switch. And that is exactly what he does. So we'll see what he goes into. It's going to actually be Ivan, which is great for me. Because that means I'm going to get quite a bit of damage off on this. Because he does have to take the hazards. Now for sure, when Salk comes back in, it is going to die to a Mach Punch. I'm pretty sure... I mean, I don't know if he was going to live the Mach Punch there, but it may have been a roll, depending, and I just, without calcing it, I mean, just in my opponent's perspective, I don't think it was worth it for him, so that's why I thought he would switch. And now we get a +1 Drain Punch off on Rhydon, which actually takes that extremely well. I am max attack adamant, and he's going to be able to Dragon Tail me. That's crazy. Is that physically defensive Rhydon? Alex, you have to tell me in the comments if that's physically defensive Rhydon, because that was ridiculous. Rhydon takes hits so well, it's just crazy. I love Rhydon, it's so good. I have to use it again. There was a point in time, I think it was later X and Y, where I was just using Rhydon all the time, so I kind of just stopped for a while, because I thought it was overusing him a little bit. But I have to bring him back. There's so many different things you can run for Rhydon. Offensive, physically defensive, specially defensive, utility, setup, because he gets Rock Polish and Swords Dance and all kinds of things. But now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he is physically defensive, which means that Shadow Ball should be able to take him out, even with the Eviolite from there. And it turns out that I am at least right that he is going to go down to the Shadow Ball, so that's something. Rhydon is out of the way, and he's going to go into Amoonguss here. There's really no reason for him not to. I cannot touch that thing. And I really don't have much to switch in either. So maybe that was a bad play going into Haunter. We'll have to see. We will have to see. I think that's really his only play to make at this point. Because it's out of the bag that his Salk is not Scarf, so I'm not going to be afraid of it. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of it anyway, just because I am Scarf myself, and I naturally outspeed Salk, but... he doesn't necessarily know that. So we shall see what he wants to do here. So he has the Amoonguss and the Salk left. And what else? Does he have something else left? I don't think he just has 2 Pokemon. So he's going to take all the hazard damage coming back in. Yeah, he's got 1 other Pokemon. What is it? We took out the Jellicent already. We took out the Rhydon. The Chinchino. That's right. And I still don't know what that is. That hasn't seen the light of day. I wonder if that's like Focus Sash or something, and he didn't want to bring it in on hazards. But at this point, he has no way to get rid of the hazards anyway, so... Maybe he wanted to get rid of the Haunter so he can spam the Tail Slaps. But I have Quillfish still, too, so if it is physical, that thing's going to be basically shut down. If it's special, that could be trouble. Depending. Although, Haunter actually would take that on relatively well because the spec set usually runs Hyper Voice and Focus Blast as its two main attacking moves, and Haunter doesn't care about either one of those. So, the fact remains here, we definitely need to switch. We cannot stay out on this because I'm still thinking that this is Assault Vest. I don't want to try to stay in and Shadow Ball it. I feel like that's just going to cause me some unnecessary grief. And if that Cinccino is anything but Scarfed, we could potentially Destiny Bond it. Especially if it has like Life Orb knockoff or something. So I'm going to make the switch directly into the Reuniclus, predicting him to want to go for, either Giga Drain or Sludge Bomb. It didn't really matter at that point. And he can't kill me with another attack, so I just get to kill something here, basically. I don't know if he's going to want to leave this Amoonguss in. I mean, it really does do a number on my team. But it's like, what is he going to switch in? This Reuniclus just really poops on what's left of his team, so he's going to have to make a sacrifice here. I could Future Sight if I wanted to, but I don't want him switching around that, so I'm just going to Psychic. He actually opts to leave his Amoonguss in here, and there's no way that you're taking that. So we never were able to confirm whether it was the Assault Vest or not, but it still just dies to that. And so that's huge, because that thing was such a problem to my team. I really had no answers to it. Miltank was my only switch, and even then I couldn't do anything to it but Body Slam it. So, yeah, I'm happy that that thing is out of the way. But I am curious to see what your set is, so let me know in the comment section. And he's going to go into the Sock, that's right. Sock was his other Pokemon. He can knock off here. And, let's see, do I want to go into Quillfish? I could go into Quillfish and get my Regenerator off because I'm not even running Magic Guard. I'm actually going to go into Haunter. I don't think I need it. I'm not too worried about that Cinccino just because I have Girder. So I will sack this to a knockoff here. At least I'm assuming he's going to go for knockoff. Yeah, he does go for the knockoff. I figured. I mean, it didn't seem like there was any reason for him not to there, especially because he's not choiced, so he doesn't really get punished too much by going for that. He's going to remove an item on whatever comes in. It would probably kill my Reuniclus. It would kill Haunter. It removes the Eviolites of Girder and the recovery on the Quillfish. But now, because he took that extra hazard damage coming back in, we can just go into Girder here, and that should clean up the match. Because if he's Focus Sash Cinccino, that's going to get broken by the hazards, and I can just Drain Punch it, because I don't think he can kill me with anything. So yeah, and this just dies to a Mach Punch. So, and then we do have the Reuniclus to fall back on, which is close to full health. Depending on what that Cinccino set is, I might be able to take a hit. Because I don't even know if Life Orb knockoff will kill. So I am max HP. Reuniclus isn't the bulkiest thing in the world. But yeah, I should probably just stop talking and click Girder, because that is clearly my only play. So into Heath we go, take a little bit of damage due to the Stealth Rocks there. And we can just fire off a Mach Punch at this point. And there's really no reason for me to do anything else. Because if he switches into Cinccino, that's easily going to be 2-hit KO'd. It might even be 1-hit KO'd. I don't know. Cinccino is relatively frail. It really is frail. But I don't know. I'm kind of doubting the power of Girder right now just because of how little that +1 Drain Punch did to Rhydon. But I really do think that's physically defensive Rhydon. So, I'm going to fire off a Mach Punch here. Salk is going to go down. And depending on what this set is, of course, or some hacks that may happen, I believe we have this match on lockdown. But I don't want to say that too soon. So maybe I shouldn't have said that because maybe I just jinxed myself. Who knows? I'm going to go for the Mach Punch here. And we'll see if he can take this. He actually can. Wow, that's kind of impressive. And he's going to eat his Lychee Berry! Lychee Berry Flail! Does this thing get Endure too? That's really cool. That also did pathetic damage. Wow. Okay, so I was doubting the power of Girder after that Drain Punch on the Rhydon, but I'm not going to doubt the bulk, because that is a close to max power flail. And that's stab at +1. That is ridiculous. Why did Girder take that so well? As soon as I saw the flail, I was like, oh, he's dead. There's no way he's taking that. But apparently he can take it. That's just silliness. I'm also kind of surprised that Chinchino was able to take the Mach Punch because of how frail it is. So, bulk all around, I guess. But that is the RU tier for you, I suppose. So I want to thank you for the battle, Alex. As always, it was an honor, my friend. I look forward to reading what you have to say in the comment section. And I do look forward to our next battle as well. Remember, if you see him in the comment section, give him a GG for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next time, we'll be diving into a different tier with a different team. If you enjoyed, make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course. And I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.